All right, welcome to December 10th, LPME Executive Committee meeting. This being our first meeting of this newly elected XCOM, I'd like to welcome everyone and would call this meeting to order. I know some of you were not on the previous XCOM, so I'm not going to ask the question if everyone reviewed the last meeting's notes, and we will just get into this one. So if you can scroll down a bit, Ben, so we can see where we're starting out. So I guess this motion is a bit moot, but I'll make it anyway. Motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Do we have a motion to start with? Who moved?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, you moved. Okay, I thought you were asking for a motion. All right. All right, so Dane moved. It's been seconded.
By Joe Weeks. Any discussion on this?
Call the question.
Hearing none. Jim calls a question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? All right, moving on to the treasurer's report.
Sorry, I forgot to mute myself. So, as a reminder for those who have not been on the call, we have two accounts that are registered to the party. One account has balances that primarily come from donations, memberships, so on and so forth. The second account, the balance of that account is primarily, well, basically now totally, the balance of the fundraising we did with RFK Jr. during the last political election cycle. So those are two separate accounts with two different balances. So the primary account, which is the money that we have raised as a party, has a balance of $846.08. The second account, which the RFK fund account, has $14,774.04. So still healthy amount in the RFK account. The 846, just as a FYI, last time we had our XCOM before convention, so that would have been October, the balance at that point was $2,000. So after convention, the expenses that we had to do for that, so on and so forth, plus our normal monthly expenses, were about $1,200 down. As a reminder, our monthly expenses is somewhere in the $300 to $400 range. I'm actually going through it again now to make sure I get a new number because I took out the ChatGPT account. So assuming, let's say $300, that means right in our primary account, we have about 2.5 months worth of balance, but that can always be covered by transferring money from that secondary RFK account into the primary account to keep the party afloat. So I know we're going to talk about membership and stuff at some point, but that is the current standing of the accounts.
So what is, just so I know, what is the process of transferring from the secondary account to the first? Are they the same bank?
Yeah, they're both the Canada National Bank, so it's just like an internal
Okay.
transfer. It's like having a checking and a savings.
Yep. Perfect.
So it's an instant transfer with the internal accounts. So yeah, if we had to do the transfer, we can. Again, $14,000. Not saying that this is what we should be aiming for, but if we keep our expenses where they are now, you're talking about like 10 years worth of coverage in just our expenses. So we're not in a situation where like the party is going to shut down tomorrow because we don't have money. At the same time, though, like I brought up during convention, the balance of 846.08, that's the way that we should be looking at our actual money.
Yes.
Because that's the money that we have raised as a party, that we have brought in.
Correct.
The RFK funding, we can't expect that to happen again.
What was that full number? Just because it looks like Ben hadn't caught it.
14,774.04.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I just want to speak a little bit about this. So we're gonna, in our tech IT meeting, we're having on Monday. Part of that discussion is going to be getting our CRM up to date and our donation links back on the website, because currently there are none. So right now we have zero avenue of accepting funds unless someone's like literally mailing us a check or reaching out to us individually. So just we need to keep that in mind, and obviously that's going to be top priority moving forward. All right. Anything else on this? Anyone have any questions for Jason?
Just two things. Just to be clear, we used the second account, the larger account, to pay the balance for the convention. And I let everybody know that that was the way to go because we had that balance there in order to do so. And secondly, have we come to a conclusion whether the PayPal account is an asset or it is not? I thought we said it was.
I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be considered an asset. Do we not have visibility into that?
What was the question again? So I can
The PayPal account. What's the balance on the PayPal account as well? Because that should be an asset as well.
Yeah, I'm actually logging into it right now because I wanted to talk about something that had to do with that real quick. Hold on, I gotta get my code real quick.
Change my view.
Go back.
Well, I want
There.
yeah. Art gallery by.
It's the code. Okay. So our total balance on our PayPal account is $892.93, which is, I guess, comforting as it's a higher balance than our technical actual bank account. So that's nice. However, one thing to keep, well, not to keep in mind, something just to call out, is that most of that comes from reoccurring donations. So people in the past have set up donations with us, and it bills them for it. Bills them for it every month. Currently, right now, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 recurring transactions that range from like $25 to $50 a month. Of those 10, 4 of them are now inactive, meaning that they've tried to charge the account on file, and whoever it was, either the credit card information has changed, the bank account information has changed, so PayPal can't actually withdraw that funding. That $895 balance, when I look at transaction by transaction, that total money has been accumulated over the last year and a half, which means that we're averaging about $400 per year in donations coming to the PayPal account. So the $893 balance is a nice number, especially when we're talking about $846 for the primary account. But overall, that's still spread out over almost 2 years, so it's about $400 we're paying per
What was that? What was that number again, Jason, on the PayPal?
890. Hold on, I'm going back.
Ben already wrote it down. 895.93.
Well,
892, 93, 92. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure we're accurate. I read a couple different numbers and it looked like Ben was struggling to keep them correct.
So that money is just sitting in that account. We did use a little bit of the funds from there to pay David McIntosh for the $100 that we donated to him. So that came out of the PayPal account. So that 892 can sit there. We do have to. So until we deposit it or spend it, it does not have to be declared with the state, but it is counted towards an asset that we have available to use for disposal.
Okay.
So,
and I think, I mean, anyone else can let an opinion here, but I think that we kind of keep PayPal as an insular thing until we need to use anything from PayPal, just to keep our filing entries down as much as possible.
yeah, I would also appreciate if we did that, because I did double check with the state. If we were to deposit the $892.93 now, we'd have to put in every transaction that led to that balance at $892.93 over the last 2 years. Then manually.
Seriously?
Yep. Because they were actually donations.
Okay.
They were individual contributors, so they have to be filed as individual
Right.
contributors with the state.
So unless they're like under 25.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is actually a good place to have this discussion because I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but it's been my understanding that that was going to be our primary mode of donations going forward, whether it be from membership or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
But if that's the case, is there any legal, like for everyone here in the room, is there any legal issues with us doing it that way? And then,
What I would, if we're going to use it going forward for all donations, for every donation that gets done, we should declare it when we do our filing with the state going forward.
okay,
Just because since we know that we're actively going to use the account in that way. The account has not been historically used that way in the past, where there's been again, there's 8 transactions, basically six people were making all the transactions over 2
right.
years. So
Actually, when I was treasurer, I entered all that. I mean, I didn't even realize you couldn't because I did. But you said you talked with the state about that with the PayPal. So
yep.
So, but Jason, you're saying moving forward, we should be logging everything as individual transactions with our filings that come into all of our accounts, no matter
Yeah.
what.
So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna the next filing I'm gonna just to make sure we get into the habit. I will file because the next filing will be due in about 2 weeks, and it'll be for the last 2.5 months, 3 months. So there'll
Yeah,
be 18 transactions that have to be filed from the PayPal account onto that filing. So I'll make sure that those are on there, and then going forward, especially if we're going to use this as our primary way of getting funds, it needs to be declared.
okay, cool. At this point, just because it was on my list of things to discuss and it makes sense here, I motion to remove Kate from all of our financial assets and to place me on all of our financial assets with logins, PayPal, just to add, because Jim's already there. So the motion is removal of Kate from all financial assets and addition of myself.
I'd
I'll
like to,
second that.
I'd like to amend that. We should be adding Ben as too. He's the secretary. Did we not previously have all 4 of us?
We did.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay.
you did. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
It was
Well, I mean-
done with Robin, but then we had
We got out of
we got
practice.
out of practice
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
okay.
It just
Mhm.
So we just to keep the rules here. So there was a motion that was seconded by Brian and then Jim amended. So Ben, I'll give you a minute to catch up on that. So my motion was the removal of Kate on all financial assets in addition. Yes, that was my initial motion, which was seconded by, I believe that was Brian or was it Joe?
That
Okay,
was Brian.
okay. And so help me out here. Do we need, because there was an amendment,
so we needed to vote on the amendment.
do we have to vote on this first or do we have to then, do we append this with the amendment?
No.
I believe my amendment would have to be seconded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the amendment has to be seconded.
Okay. So we have a second for Jim's amendment.
A second.
And Ben,
Now
you'll
we
need
enter
to,
discussion. You have to write the amendment.
which is to add you, Ben, to the accounts as well.
You just wanted
Do it in the same format, just above like where it says amended by, do it in the same format of the initial motion. And actually, I would format this by saying, actually, can you see this? How did you normally do that?
What?
So here's my actual motion,
Yeah.
the time, and then it was motioned by, seconded by.
I would just indent it afterwards just to make sure it's clear that it's part of this original one, I guess.
Like indent the motioned by?
No,
Okay,
the bottom one. I don't think Ben can figure it out.
okay. Sorry, guys.
yeah, I'll clean it up afterwards.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll be clear.
all right, everyone clear on the motion and the amendment?
So just for the sake of discussion, yeah, did we never bother to get Sam on there? I guess we didn't.
Oh,
No, we didn't.
All right. But fine. I mean, I don't know if the hard and fast rules is we do have the secretary, but I'm totally cool with it either way.
I don't think it is. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
It's just there had to be the treasurer and the chair. I think we decided because during the time that we were all kind of coming into the most recent version of the XCOM, I think we just had been doing an abundance of caution to make sure that they, like, if somebody were to leave, that we had plenty of
coverage.
coverage.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Let the record show it passes unanimously. And we will continue.
And excuse me, guys, I'll be reaching out both to Dane and to Ben for their contact information, make sure I got it. I got yours, Dane.
Yep.
But just to let Camden National know, add these two, remove these two.
And they'll likely want a copy of our convention minutes for that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Has that, just because we're talking about it, has that been filed, Mr. Secretary? Do we have that on the server somewhere?
I have not yet. I will immediately after this, though.
Yeah. And
Don't
if
we
you
have
need it,
Don't we have to vote on that first
oh,
to
actually,
approve it? To prove it?
yes, we do. You are correct.
Okay. So I did
Oh.
send out what is basically the third draft is basically the final draft. Has everybody reviewed those?
I have. I'm
Okay.
shaking heads.
All right. In that case, I'll move to accept the convention minutes as they were in the third draft.
And I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay,
Right.
passes. Then I'll give you a minute to catch up on the motion.
We're doing that under the convention review here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And you can just yeah, where it says motion, you can write the motion. Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Make sure you call out, what was it? Version 3?
Yeah, the third draft.
Third draft. Thank you.
Yep.
And I seconded that. And it passes.
Very good.
All right. So we have SOP review on the agenda. I kind of feel like that's for you to discuss because you're working on it currently.
Sure. I am probably like 85% done with all the formatting here. I'll make sure I share, and I did pull in everything that I had access to for SOPs. So there's a few in there, Jason, from your stuff. So it's all in one document. It'll be clickable links. I tried to organize it so that it was like kind of the most important stuff at the top. And I think so just to let you know, within the SOPs, we had developed kind of a more of a succession plan. So I'm thinking that once I'm done with this, I'll make sure everyone's got access to it. And the idea would be that everyone checks off that they've reviewed the SOPs, reviewed the bylaws, and signed the NDA.
Right.
Within like a month or two of being voted in. So just wanted to make sure I kind of touched base on that. Those are the big stuff like up at the top, and then everything else is kind of just snuck in there. Some of it's from the old document, some of it's stuff that we have generated because we have figured out other processes that we needed to put into the SOP manual. So yeah.
And obviously we're going to have a separate meeting on this with all of us, just so we can go through it, approve it, accept it. because this is something that we need to adopt officially
Mhm.
once it's completed.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
any questions on that? Comments?
No.
Hearing none, we will continue. Succession plan. So that's part of the SOP. I guess what I'll say is, anyone new to the XCOM have any questions and not have access to anything that they need currently.
I'm not sure if I have access to the documents online yet, but
Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be part of our tech meeting Monday. I have that on the list because the way that Joe had organized things, I believe he has it as like we have an XCOM group that gets automatic, admin read write privs on all of our, base documents. I need to
In the cloud,
in the
yeah.
cloud. I need to confirm that with him. So that'll be part of the discussion on the tech side of things on Monday. If anyone here so currently that meeting invite is just what I've colloquially called the tech IT peeps on Discord, which is me, Jason, Joe, and Matthew St. Pierre. If any of you want to be involved in that committee, if you will, please let me know and I'll add you to the Discord group and add you to we also have a new email group, which is it-tech@lpme.org that I set up that has all of us in it. And that's for fielding, or that's either for internal discussions within the committee, or if anyone has tech issues, to use that as a email to communicate with the team. Any questions there? Anyone want to?
I would say too, Sean, I'm not sure if you've gone have you gone into the drive yet and looked at
yes, I
the
noticed I actually do have access.
I was gonna say, because the cloud should show up under, it kind of shows up under the home page, but sometimes if you mess around with like whether it's the shared or whatever, I've had to mess around
Yeah,
with you sometimes.
yeah. It's jumbled in with a bunch of other stuff I've accumulated over the years. So
Right. Okay. So strategic plan is next, unless there's anything else one thing also I'll say about succession plan too. I have yet, I think I gave privs to Joe, and I don't know, there was someone else. Oh, Brian, I finally gave you privs to the Facebook. So as far as Facebook and other socials go, as far as Twitter, that login info is already on our master password sheet, which I might have to manually share, or I'll get it on the drive so that everyone on the XCOM has access to that, because I think I might be the owner of that sheet. But if
Right on the
you,
drive.
what's that?
It's right on the drive, and we'll have access to it.
It is?
The master login sheet, yeah.
Okay. So the logins for everything is there, all of our vendors online that we use. I think that there's still another step for the Facebook page. I think that an admin has to approve moderator privs. So if you, obviously all of you will eventually have moderator privs, but I do want to have a separate, when we go over the SOPs and when we specifically talk about social media engagement, I want to kind of just go through that with everyone first before I start doling out things, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Everyone understand and cool with that?
yeah,
Okay, because I think right now, all right, Gina, thanks for joining. We'll talk soon. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, we'll move on. All right, so strategic plan. This is obviously kind of going to be a little bit larger of a discussion, and I don't really want to spend a ton of time delving into it unless the rest of the group does. For those of you who joined us, we've already spoken to one gubernatorial candidate We have plans to speak to a second, being Derek Lavasser. We spoke to Robert Wessels. I'm in the process of getting a meeting with Doug Jones, and we'll reach out to Bobby Charles. And I haven't looked into Democrats yet, but will. So that's not necessarily part of the strategic plan per se. It's more of just an overarching kind of moving into 26. As far as general strategy, I want us to obviously be open armed to anyone who shares that we overlap with, and I don't care what party they're from. Um, Outside of that, obviously we need to bolster our membership and our activist engagement. Um, Part of that's going to be very highly tied with the tech side of the conversation, um, whether it be, our continued social media engagement. We've seen a precipitous increase in organic emails and phone calls since we've switched to the new website and our search engine optimization. So I'm open to hear other thoughts and ideas on general strategy, but that's kind of my 30,000-foot view on the topic as it sits now.
So yeah, how deep and in depth are we looking to get at this stage? Just
Right now, just let's keep it broad right now. I
okay.
think that this is worthy of a much more in-depth conversation, but in respect of everyone's time, I kind of want to keep it a little bit broad for the time being. But if there's things that I said that you don't agree with or think we should go in a different direction, or you have other ideas to add on to, now would be the time to kind of discuss some of those things.
Well, it seems kind of relevant with a lot of candidates for governor announcing and campaigning, etc., as to like what is so what our stance is regarding the meetings and the kind of purpose behind them. Because if nobody else has looked at the DM from the campaign manager for Wessels on the Facebook page, they're looking for endorsements. That's why
Right.
they're looking to meet with us. That message seemed to indicate that at least they believe that the Libertarian Party has some sway, some weight with voters, and they're looking to capture our endorsement. So, what's I know that you have to be a member of the Libertarian Party to secure an endorsement, but knowing that that's probably why these candidates are even interested in meeting with us, what's the
So just real
plan?
quick on that, and I'll just say, and obviously I want other people to talk on this too, but I actually did read through our bylaws twice last week, and I could not find anywhere in it that says that we cannot endorse other parties' candidates. Not advocating we do that necessarily, but I don't believe that we are shackled by that from our state bylaws perspective. There may be, again, this might get a little bit deeper into, and Sean and Jim, maybe you guys can speak to this, but there may be a deeper agreement as far as our affiliation agreement. However, I've never seen an affiliate contract or agreement between us and LP National that says that those certain things are precluded from us being involved in. So if either one of you have more to add on that, if you could.
Sean, I'm going to defer to you. I'm going off some basic knowledge. I can't quote chapter and verse on it either. If it's not
It
there, it should be, but yeah.
yeah, I don't know if there's actually anything written that prohibits it. I'd have to dive back into the national bylaws again, but is and it is extremely rare and highly frowned upon. But
Right. I will say this for what it's worth. The fact that we're even just talking with gubernatorial candidates wasn't long ago, they wouldn't even look at us to
Exactly.
to take their
Yeah.
time with us.
Yeah.
So
Right.
enjoy um, enjoy the gravitas that we've earned and
Yeah.
fought for.
Yeah.
But
Again,
So yeah, keep on
it's not
continuing
unusual
doing
for
that.
them to speak with us, and because we're politically engaged people, and just finding politically engaged people who are willing to listen is such a rarity. That's usually all they're looking for.
Mhm. All right.
So
In
this
the
is
past.
a double-edged sword in the sense that, and I think we need to be very careful about what we choose to do, because you're right, it's a very positive thing that we're getting attention from a major political party. However, as everyone knows how politics works, to Joe's point, they're not doing it out of the benevolence of their own heart because they want to become libertarians, or else they'd be libertarians.
Right.
So that they have an expectation, and the thing is that if we violate that expectation, we have to be aware that there will be consequences. Meaning that if we say, hey, listen, we just choose not to be involved, and at the same time don't run a gubernatorial candidate who's registered libertarian, the way the two parties will look at us is like, yeah, there's no reason to deal with them going forward, because let's be honest, we have 5,000 registrants, or 6,000 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting to a place where we may cause some attention, but that's why they're trying to plant a flag now, so that way if the party continues to grow, they have some type of relationship with us. But if we choose not to engage, don't expect engagement in the future, because until we get to 100,000 registrants, we don't have any real effect on any kind of voting in the state. Period. Like that's the realistic state of where we are with
Right.
the amount of registrants that we have.
I would say with that though, just to add on to that same perspective, like yes, I understand that it is a double-edged sword. However, if they're coming to us looking for starting that relationship just because of a gubernatorial race that like we currently right now there's not really a reason for any candidates to be talking to us other than the fact that Wessels and Lavasser are both very far behind and are looking for any scrap that they can get, right?
Yeah.
However, I will also say at this in the same exact breath, I think we take the perspective of we will talk to anyone and partner with anyone as long as you concede or like as long as we can get concessions out of someone after engaging in an actual relationship. I mean, even if it's not going to happen in the gubernatorial level, which I don't have any illusions is going to occur, but if the conversation starts, then that type of, I mean, that we all know that politics, especially in Maine, is a very small pool, and that delineates widely. And that could certainly come up and be a realistic kingmaker type situation in, say, Bangor City Council or Portland City Council or, county commissioner or whatever it might be.
No, that's all
So,
true. This one thing to keep in mind, and I'm sorry to interrupt, is that
no,
the reason why, and this is the honest reason why they're even entertaining us right now, is right now, if you look at the polling data for the state of Maine and where all the Republican candidates are, they're all at least 12 to 15 points behind. So for them to get funding from the federal RNC, they have to show that there's an actual competitive race. So every vote counts. So if they're able to get to point to say, hey, we're down by 25,000 votes, but we met with the Libertarian Party of Maine, they gave us an endorsement, so we may be able to count under 5 or 6,000, there's a better chance they'll be able to get the RNC to give them the funding they need. If they can't even show that it's worth a race worth running, the RNC is going to take funds and put it into a different state. Because the way
right,
the RNC looks at the state of Maine is that it's a lost cause. And what the RNC in Maine is trying to do is try to prove to them that they're not a lost cause and they deserve more funding. So that's the reason why they're speaking to us. This is politics. That is what they're doing. They need to get enough numbers to go, hey, we need 100,000 more dollars, 200,000 more dollars. And look, we're even making inroads with libertarians in Maine who XYZ have these views that are disagreeing with us, but we're able to do these things, and now we can count on that base and so on and so forth. This is just politicking.
Sure.
This is basic politicking. The reason why we haven't dealt with it in the past is because up until the last 10 or 15 years, it's at least been competitive in some races. But the fact that they've been down 12 to 15 points the last 3 elections in a row,
Yeah.
and now the red law thing the red flag law just got passed. A bunch of the voter ID thing just failed. So all these things that they're pushing for, they received funding from the national RNC, they failed. So they have to show their worth to the federal RNC or they will get no money. That's all this is.
Sure. But the question is still like, how do we approach and handle these candidates?
I'm
So,
not. I like the idea of. I may be a. This is. We are at a place in terms of our membership size that we have two options, where we can be a ideologically focused party where we only deal with people who are 95% in our direction. So there's some room for wiggle, but they have to be pretty staunch on very specific details. Or you can try to do what the DNC and RNC done in the last 10, 15 years and do a big tent party. Where we go, hey, we only have to agree on 65% of things, not 95% of things. And those are two different types of way of politicking, and they have two different consequences and repercussions. Where, let's be honest, if we said tomorrow that we're endorsing a candidate, Democrat or Republican, a large percentage of our membership, well, our registrants in the state are going to have very strong feelings one way or the other. So there's going to be consequences no matter what we do. We have to decide as an XCOM, is it worth the consequence?
Right.
yeah.
That's the
I will
conversation.
say, sorry to interrupt, because I'm literally working on this SOP. We did get an SOP in there, two SOPs. One to, like, if we were to be asked to support a candidate, like as in, like how we've, offered support to, like, I know Ben, we worked with you on it, Dave McIntosh, Brian. That's one SOP. And then there's another SOP regarding the endorsement. So take a peek at it. I think this actually will maybe help you guys form a little bit more of a structure around that type of conversation. So that might help with some of the questions. Like, I think, Joe, you're asking really valid questions.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the things that we've struggled with to figure out how to best move forward and do it pragmatically. So
Right.
maybe like I said, I'm probably going to be done with this tonight. So definitely take a peek at it once it's released, and it may help us. Like, there's like a scorecard endorsement criteria part within the SOP, so that it might be easier to track these things and to run candidates through to determine what's the cutoff. Like one of the things says, like, it needs to score at least a 70 out of 100, the scorecard, that type of thing. So I think it may help
Yeah,
to
that
take a
seems
peek.
reasonable.
Yeah. So, the details, whatever you decide on the details, go for it. But I think that having the framework I'm glad that we have it. I think it speaks a lot to this conversation.
And also in the same kind of context, I think it would be probably a good idea to have some more staple sort of, I guess, questions, criteria for the candidates too. Maybe even see if there's a way to get them to hop onto a podcast with us or something like that. If that was, not necessarily counting as an endorsement per se, but just as a introduction to the Libertarian Party in Maine through the podcast.
And honestly, to kind of present our perspective to
Yes.
a candidate of another party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So part of the SOP for the candidate support is the evaluation criteria. So to guide the questions, for instance, like, the three main aspects would be like electoral viability, whether the ballot access is an issue, demographics, candidate commitment, like what level of campaign effort this person is making. Like, is this just a quick and dirty, like, I'm adding myself on for a school board, or is this like for a House seat, and then strategic party value, like whether it's a visible election, whether the candidate is identifying with a specific political party or not, whether it's a partisan position. So yeah, I think these might be helpful moving forward to discuss this.
And a reminder, we do also have the Libertarian Scorecard GPT that scores. So we haven't ran any of this yet. But the reason we created that was the idea was that we could do scorecards for every candidate and publish it. And this is also something, to Joe's point, that if we were to do a podcast episode, this would be a way to break that kind of conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, we have a way of scoring our candidates. This is where you scored. It gave you pluses on these things.
Yeah, I like
These are
that.
negatives.
I do too.
What can you do to help us? Why should we feel that these negatives are worth overlooking?
Yeah,
Blah, blah, blah.
I like that a lot. Just because, while I personally am not averse to endorsing a candidate, I see that there are certainly some pretty jagged edges with the consequences of that. I think that there are certainly some smarter ways, like you just discussed, that we could have the same kind of discussions, have reach some consensus with these people, and from that, even, potentially share some socials of theirs or comments of theirs if they align with our perspective on that one topic, which isn't
Yeah,
necessarily an endorsement.
but
Um,
yeah, that's also kind of part of the question that I guess I didn't verbalize is to just when it comes to issues that they might promote on their socials, are we comfortable kind of endorsing a particular policy and not necessarily the candidate, that type of thing?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a general
Yeah.
sense
Sean,
of
do you have something?
how this
I just say for a
works.
guideline, look to how the National Party deals with Massey's tweets.
Right.
True.
Or
Yeah,
Rand.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I think generally we should be involved. Like if and once we all have moderate, like once we all have like control, not control, but like commenting ability as the state party, whenever we're on our own personal social medias and you see something that the party should have like a quick little interjection comment on or whatever, I think that we should all take it upon ourselves to go for those 80-20 perspectives. When I say 80-20, I mean 80% of libertarians agree with this um, perspective, that we should all be doing that as much as possible, because that's another thing I think that is helping our somewhat upward trajectory with social media engagement and our organic um, interest, is that Joe, Jason to a degree, and myself have all been pretty involved in our Twitter and Facebook as the page, right? And that helps like down the road of bringing people to us organically as well, if that makes sense.
One
Yeah.
of one other thing, and to kind of get away from the candidates part of it here, um, and just kind of bring you back to that 30,000 foot you were looking at, um, memberships. That's got to be a top priority as well. Getting back to that, is the content we are presenting, encouraging memberships, encouraging re-ups, is encouraging new members.
Right.
What do we have to do? I think we need a deeper dive into that. Not tonight, but
Right.
um, we do need to look at, okay, what kind of hot takes, what kind of overall present, and what kind of an introductory, because again, a lot of people don't know about us. What can we
Yeah.
provide to introduce people and bring in the memberships? I mean, our memberships are weak, but we can do something about that. I know where to go but up, and that will
Right.
help our coffers in a big way. So I think that's got to be a top priority. And of course, we have some things that we have our mandate to do. We got the caucuses coming up. I wanted to touch on that just a little bit, and we also have to have a convention before. I want to say, Sean, the date's like May 19th or something like that. What's the drop dead date?
Well, we don't have to have a convention. We
Yes,
already
you
have.
do. Honey,
No, in
yes,
the
you do.
in 2024 we need a convention. The
Oh,
reason why the
sorry.
reason why yeah
2026.
the
Yes.
reason why we had one in 2020 in the odd number year is just so we could get our delegates. And
Yes.
that's the primary thing,
Yeah.
and that's something
It
we
used to
need.
be,
Yeah, but the state requires one before I sometime in the late spring. I'm not positive the date.
Can you find
usually,
that out and then we can just do like a digital one or something like that? Because like we're not going to really have much to do for a convention now. We already have new leadership and delegates for LNC.
Well, right. It doesn't have, we don't have to elect new leadership with the convention, but we are required to just have one. We're
Okay.
not looking,
yeah,
it's not
it's much
about
like the
electing new
caucuses.
leadership. Right. Right.
Okay.
The caucuses are required. The convention is required, but we don't have to elect new leadership at the convention, Dean. We just have to hold one. And,
Okay.
but this will be a good one to get the state together. That's really the whole point.
Sure.
Yep. Um,
Um,
So I charge you with that, Mr. Vice Chair.
all right.
Cool.
All right. While
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about caucuses just because
Yeah,
Brian's already there.
I'd like to share my screen if I
Yeah,
will.
hold on.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, I think. Try.
Yeah.
I might have just fat fingered it.
All right. There. Let's do
Do you have it?
this and kind of give an overview tonight of where we are with that. Okay, everybody can see my little caucus checklist.
No.
No. You have to actually hit say share.
Thought I done did that. Hold on, let me try that again. There we go.
There you go. Here.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, just an overview as to where we are and who is doing what here. So these are the list of the people who have committed to doing a caucus this year. Dane, since you and I talked, Robin reached back to me and has agreed to do one for Kennebec County.
Nice.
Andy Gardner also reached back and is happy to take on Lincoln County. We have a few. Well, I'm just going to go down the list for those who don't know. Gina agreed to do both Piscataquis and Franklin counties since she has residency just in Franklin, but she also has a home in Piscataquis as well. You probably guys don't know Yanni Simplicio. He's been around for a while and he's got a
Know the
young
name.
family. Yep. He's got a young family. He's agreed to take on Saginaw Hawk, and I got to get the information to him. But the rest are still don't have a commitment yet. And I was hoping Joe would be here tonight so I could talk about Androscoggin, but I'll get with him. Jason, you are here. Are you willing to take on the Waldo County caucus once again?
Yeah, I'll do it again.
All right. Thank you for that. Somerset, we could just go back to Kevin, but I think I had another plan in mind. Waiting to hear from Victoria. That's Tyler's sister up in Presque Isle. Haven't heard back from the Springer. And Sean, while you're here.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. Okay, very good. So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but I want to do it differently this time because it is an extremely stressful thing if you don't get it done in time. I'm looking to get these all done, and this is aggressive, admittedly, by February 1st. I also want to be able to really have just a relaxing time. Once you have the caucus and you saw off the paperwork, it's good. But I want to have people have fun with these. I want people to gather together and just relax and talk and do the official stuff and just really be meetups primarily. I also I wanted to share this with you. Oh, by the way, this is on the Google Drive right now. This part right here, and I got to update that. So I'll keep you abreast. I just received an updated list of all of our registrants in the mail today. By the way, we're at about 6,800. And what I did is I've kind of taken this and I've broken them down by county. Joe, I'm going to get you a Cumberland one. Ben, I'll get you an Aroostook one, etc. I just want to show this off one little thing I did. I went through the Penobscot one for my county, and I did this a few years ago, and it was pretty cool. I highlighted the couples, the ones that have the same street address, and in some cases, not all had the same last name. It's like, I found that there were 6 libertarian couples in my town of Hamden. I'm like, Paula, we should get to know these people. So this will kind of help you out a little bit here. I want you to reach out to the couples and you just, especially if you're a married couple yourself, Jason, you and Sam. Hey, these are the married couples that are in Waldo County. Invite them over. Have a caucus there. It makes for an easier thing because a lot of times we don't know the other libertarians in our area. So anyway, that's just one idea. So I will be sending all of you for your county this information, who they are. And I also know that we want to take this information and find them and email them and get their phone numbers and all that stuff. That's for another night.
Well, so yeah, just to really quickly touch on this, Jason, you and I kind of discussed what my plan or idea or objective, whatever, with all this type of shit was going to be, as far as leveraging our AI tool set to both, populate our email list in MailChimp and manage our CRM, but also like this is some data that we're getting straight from the state that obviously is really difficult to consume and to utilize in any way. We want to be able to use that, extrapolate it to something that we can actually use and act on. So just I don't know if you have any ideas on that specifically, or if we're gonna have to go at this manually, old school style. But obviously, I don't want to do that, and I don't think anyone wants to really do that.
No, this isn't very hard to do. Just find the time to do it. So if you want to schedule something, anybody who wants to be a part of it, we can go through what the goals are to accomplish, and I can start writing something for it.
Okay.
What I'll do for now is I'm going to get this list right here, at least these two tabs. I'm going to get it on the Google Drive here. It's going to be called State List. I don't know why he formatted it like that. I'll be 2025 12 10, based on this date right here, and I'll get that up there tonight.
Okay.
And
So
question.
this is something that is going to evolve, but we should all be paying attention to this because obviously our data is going to be one of the most powerful weapons we have in our arsenal to try and get people moving and doing things. Yeah, Sean.
Anybody have any questions on this?
Yes. I know I knew it at one point, but are there restrictions on what we can do with the addresses? I mean, whether we can contact people through this information or just for verification at caucuses and
I don't see why I don't know that there is any. I've
Okay.
reached out. I'll tell you what, a couple of years ago when I was really struggling to get every county done, one of the things I did is I just wrote, not having anybody's phone numbers or emails, I just wrote send postcards.
Yeah,
And
that was the extent I was thinking.
And it worked. Yes, and it worked. Send identification cards. Don't want to go too much into it tonight. I don't want to take up too many people's time, but I do want to talk with all of you, all of the county caucus people, and get some ideas and get this done and have some fun doing so at the same time. Get to know some people because we've got a lot of people to meet.
Right. So this is a perfect discussion to parlay into our monthly county development meeting. So let's plan on discussing this in detail then, unless you want to have a special meeting on this before then. Just put some dates out or a poll out on the I don't know what Discord channel. I think we have a county development Discord channel. So just put a poll on there if you want to do something before I think it's January. I don't know what date it is.
Well, I'd like to
January 5th is our next county development meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to do something before that. I want to get this rolling here.
Okay. So just let's take it to Discord and put a poll there and we'll get something going.
Okay, so Discord, I'm just making notes for myself here.
Yep.
Discord for the poll. And also, yeah, state convention deadline. Okay. That is all I have. Any other questions?
No.
I did want to add one thing for the membership needs. I did put the results from the needs assessment in the membership folder on the so anything that if I haven't already, if you're finding that something's missing from the cloud, let me know. I've tried to download anything I had from the past 3 years that would be relevant. So if you find that there's something missing, let me know, but you should be able to just, to look at that stuff. Which I thought the responses were fairly, it's the typical, some of it's kind of axe to grind stuff, but some of it was helpful in terms of knowing what people wanted. So just figured I'd mention it.
All right. Ben, if you wouldn't mind taking the screen share back and sharing the agenda.
Sure thing.
All right. Next. Okay. I have pending items. So a lot of the things that I have on my short list right now, we've already touched on, which is great. And I'll just kind of run through them. I talked about moderator privs and going over the SOP before we get everyone on all the socials. With that, I want to stress relationship building is what we're going to gain new activists with. So, for those of you who were on our social media strategy plan a month and a half ago, or on our county development meeting this month, I just want to stress to everyone in the room here, whenever like it's kind of see something, say something. If you see anyone, whether it be on your personal page, on Twitter, if you're participating as the state page, wherever, engage with people, DM them, say, hey, I noticed that you commented this for that. Have you ever considered libertarianism? Do you know what that is? Like, start actively seeking these relationships, because those are the people that are going to continually come back because we've established a relationship with them. Like I think that everyone in this room is involved because they had an interest and then established a relationship with someone else in this room, likely. And that's why we're all doing this right now. So I want to continue to move forward on that. With that being said, because it's also on my list, Sean, have you reached out to that contact Joe brought up?
I emailed yesterday
Okay.
and heard back right away.
Okay, perfect. One thing I want to bring up, and this may not, I mean, so does everyone have, at least during the times that you're waking, have notifications set up with Discord?
No.
Okay. I'm not, I'm just asking that. I mean, obviously Discord can be a lot, and I am a perpetrator of that to kind of overuse ats quite a bit. So my apologies for that. Um, I just want to kind of just discuss, like, we should be using tags on the Discord server whenever it's appropriate. And also, I think that if everyone can commit to at least checking the server like once every other day or once a day, just to see if anything new has been discussed in specifically like the XCOM channel, any of the region or county affiliate development channels. There's some fluff and fun in there, obviously. But as far as like, I want us to continually be moving forward as a team. So I just ask that everyone has that kind of as part of their daily routine, to just give it a check or have a notification enabled while you're, you know, having your phone on. Also, okay, we already did that motion. We already talked about Derek Lavasser. We already talked about endorsements. Jason, I sent you an email about something we got for MailChimp. Have you looked into that? Oh, you're muted, bud.
Sorry, no, I have not yet. Can
Okay.
you give me a quick update on what it is?
Yeah, so I don't remember if it was our MailChimp at, it probably was, because that's what we use for the login on that.
Okay.
And I've noticed it when I've sent out, like, leading up to convention, I sent out 2 MailChimp blasts, and
Okay.
there was a header that said something to the effect of our payment was declined. So can you just log into the MailChimp and verify that whatever we have for payment methods there is accurate and up to date?
Yep, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
That's happened a bunch of times. I feel like Jim and I had dealt with that a bunch, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if if it was an actual issue or if it was a glitch on the MailChimp side
The point
then.
is that it's been an actual issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, we had I mentioned the tech meeting, so anyone who's not invited to that, I think I have it as an event on the Discord server. Let me just check real quick. I do, so that will show up for everyone, honestly, to join. But if anyone wants to be involved further in any of the tech, IT, AI anything like that, please let us know. Because I'm sure Jason and Joe will greatly appreciate it. I don't think I have anything else, so I will open the floor to anyone who wants to bring something up at the moment. Oh, one other thing I will say, and just because I feel like it's necessary to bring up, is anyone who was elected as a delegate, please reserve your room space. Because if you haven't, you don't have to put any money down now, but if you don't reserve your room now, and they fill up, because obviously the room block that the LNC got is less than the 1,000 some odd delegates that are going to be there. So go reserve your room. You don't have to put any money down, at least with the Hilton.
There are no cheaper rooms than the room blocks, so
Correct.
please.
Right, which is why I'm stressing to all 7 of us. Also, I'd like to get 2 more people to be alternates to come with us, just so that if any one of us is either running late in the morning or needs to step out to go deal with something, that we've got a full vote for our state during convention. So that's all I have. If anyone else has anything,
I just want to say
any of
book your flights too. I managed to book a flight from Bangor to Grand Rapids round trip for 260.
yeah, that's pretty sweet. I haven't
Minus
done that yet, but I will.
minus the $50 I got because they screwed up my another flight, but that's another story.
Yeah, Sean?
Yes. I think we don't have any more state committee meetings until January, right?
Yes. So, yeah, our state committee meetings are always the second Wednesday of every month.
Yep. So I think this one is of we need to handle it. The primary
Oh,
petition.
yes. Thank you. I would have forgotten about that. Yep. Do you want to kind of take on this conversation if you've already read it?
I haven't read the attachments didn't come through, but I know that
Okay.
what the rules are. We were waiting on a form to do this.
Yeah.
But
I have them actually, and Ben, you have them too, right?
essentially, new law was passed that
So, Ben, if you Gmail sucks for this. Because, like, I don't even remember how I did it. Let me look. Yeah, so what I ended up doing was going to the first email from Emily, and then I clicked it. So if you go up to the very top, oh, it's from me. See below. Yeah, maybe it's because it's a forwarded email. All right, I'll share it then. And it's just the form.
essentially we can now have in our primary petitions not only registered libertarians but people who are unenrolled, and that turns the process of getting onto the ballot infinitely easier.
Right. Are you guys all
Because
seeing this? I can't tell.
yes, to see it.
Okay. So this is the actual form that we would sign to the Secretary of State, that basically says that the above named party hereby notifies the Secretary of State that it is elected to allow unenrolled voters to sign primary nomination petitions for the party's 2026 state primary election. In addition to voters enrolled in the above party, the above named party understands and acknowledges that the choice applies to all primary nomination petitions circulated by party candidates for the 2026 state primary election. So we discussed this like a month and a half ago, and on the Discord server, I'm not sure where it was, probably on the main politics channel. We are not a primary party. We're a caucus
Yes,
party.
we are.
We are. Okay.
That's kind of like had been one of the downsides of getting official recognition is when we weren't recognized, we could just go through the independent process and get we had to get twice as many signatures to get on the general, but it was any registered voter. Now we are a recognized party. We have as many signatures we need to get, but until this year, it had to be registered libertarians, which made things really difficult because in any given district, you even have that many.
Okay, so if we sign this, it would allow unenrolled to put a libertarian on the ballot as a libertarian. Do I understand that properly?
The candidate had no, an unenrolled can sign a petition. The candidate still has to be registered libertarian.
That's what I meant. Yes. Okay. So, but it can be an unregistered voter, unenrolled, excuse me,
Yeah.
just to sign the petition.
Yep.
It could not be a Green or a Republican or a Democrat, correct?
No.
So, and just so I understand this, so this would be like the amount, because like we're an official party. Can't we just choose a candidate for an elected office?
Not how it works. The only
No.
way to get a recognized party on the general ballot is through the primary process.
Okay. All right.
Now,
So I don't
and-
see a downside at all to this myself.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, someone registers as libertarian in order to run on our ticket, unless we're running someone in that district.
But
So like, yeah, okay, I guess we helped ballot access in some strange way, but
right.
it's unlikely to happen in the next few weeks. So
right.
because that's
I
when they
mean,
have to be registered by.
But yeah, but we do need to submit this before the end of the year in order to make this part of our policy and to be recognized by the state.
So
That's only for this year.
all right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just to reiterate again, an unenrolled can sign a petition to get a registered libertarian on the ballot, period.
Yes.
Okay. And again, a Republican, Democrat, Green cannot do that, correct?
Correct.
Right. So anyone that would
no
sign
downside.
the petition that would be like us putting forth a candidate for X office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Must be either a libertarian or unenrolled if we sign this and submit.
Right. I say go.
So do I have a motion?
Or let's make sure this. I move that our chair sign the 2026 notification of election to allow Ben, just copy this, what it says here at the header. Allow the unenrolled voters to sign June 9, 2026 state primary election petitions.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Let the record show. Did we lose Brian, or is this just my view? Oh, Brian's still here. Okay.
Yeah.
So let the record show that it is unanimous. Ben, and I will set a reminder right now, and I will get that done. Does it require anyone else's? No. Okay, just me.
Just a party chair. Yep.
Also, Jim, this kind of sidelines into our offline email discussion. You're going to check into what kind of, because you've been through this handover process before.
Yeah.
If we need to do anything with the state to let them know that there's been
Yes,
leadership.
they really should have a copy of our minutes.
It's in the SOPs too,
Okay.
Okay.
in the succession planning.
Okay.
And we update the officer roles when we renew our corporate registration.
When does that occur? Does anyone know?
It's usually due in April.
Okay.
$25 to do it online with the Secretary of State's office.
Jim, can you also look into that too, please?
Yeah, could you, you got cut out a little bit. What, could you repeat that part?
Me or Sean?
Either one of you.
Corporate registration done through the Secretary of State's Office of Corporations next door to elections.
Reservations done for corporations? I don't understand.
We are LPME Incorporated for liability purposes. That needs to be renewed annually. Maybe it hasn't been. But
Oh,
good news is,
like Paul and I, we own an LLC. We got to tell the state we're
yeah.
the real deal. Okay, yep. Okay,
Yeah, that has happened since I've been involved.
Okay.
okay.
Well, it's lapsed before. Just sign up. Oh, and here's the $25 annual renewal fee. It's back to normal.
Okay. Okay. I say we knock that out when we sign the paperwork for or when Dane signs the paperwork for the caucuses. Because that's another thing, Dane, you'll have to do. Once we got to make sure that all of the caucuses are followed specifically correct. And because you'll be signing off on that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. If there's nothing else, does anyone else have anything they want to bring up? No?
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.